me talk to you.
Welcome back, guys, to Dad and Son Wrestling Reviews. I'm Son and that's Dad. And today we're gonna review Dynamite, the latest week.
Before we get started, as always, shout out to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Through his sacrifice, all things are possible. We thank him for the impact he's had on our life. It'd be wrong of us not to be thankful and to the world know just how influential he's been in our life and blessed. Our channel is an example of the blessings that have come to us as a result. Me and my son doing something on a webcam and all of a sudden having over 10,000 subscribers. It's crazy stuff. So can't thank him and you guys out there enough. Also a shout out to Taurus BJJ down in Port Kennedy and our Six Blades affiliations and all the professors down there at Taurus, Ross and Luke, for looking after us.
And Emma and Elise.
Yep, looking after the kids down there and stuff like that. Giving us a great environment. We've got a bunch of competitors tomorrow, which is Sunday in Australia, for a submission-only tournament. We wish them all the best of luck, and hopefully they can come home with some gold medals. On to Dynamite. Show started off big. They didn't do that awkward backstage hype interviews this time around. They just went straight into Excalibur detailing the matches of the night and showing the crowd and the crowd reactions. Obviously, they'd had some matches previous to get them hyped up, some dark matches or something like that, because they were going nuts from the moment the fireworks started and the ESPN coverage for us started. We had MJF versus Kevin Knight. How would you rate the match? 6-7. Yeah, great match. Really showcased Kevin Knight. MJF did a great job of really showcasing Kevin Knight's agility and athleticism and stuff like that. Gave him plenty of offense. We had some shenanigans, not as much as you'd expect from an MJF match, but Kevin Knight went for a UFO from the top rope. MJF sneakily gives the ref a bit of a push into the ropes. He hits the ropes around the neck and shoulder area, goes down. That allows like a 42-second count to happen. The crowd was counting along. It was quite good. Obviously kicked out. Kevin Knight went for a second UFO. MJF got the knees up and then hit him with the I can't remember the Heat Seeker pile driver through the ropes there. Great match. MJF looked great. Kevin Knight looked great. Kevin Knight's obviously going to be in the main event picture within the next 2 years or so. I reckon that, if not touching on it, I think he'll have a few near misses and then eventually he can put a big title on him. Come end of 2027, 2028, he can build up to those big moments with him. Maybe even I wouldn't mind him and Jet Speed sort of crossing paths, and one's a heel, one's a babyface type thing. I don't think you need to keep them both babyface. I reckon you need to work both sides of the coin with those two, and you could really, as Hangman and that move back, those guys can take over from the main event picture.
What about then he would be the heel and he would be the...
You could do both ways. You see who can play off better. You could do the whole jealousy because they'll tag partners, trios champions together and stuff like that. You could really build off, this guy's gone a little bit further than me, I'm a bit jealous. And then
There's nothing else.
Yeah, you can go roundabouts and stuff like that. MJF also then wants to take out Kevin Knight with a diamond ring. Hangman comes out to stop it all. MJF gets mouthy with him, and then Jet Speed comes in and hits him with a karate kick from behind when he turns around. So good segment, great way to start. The crowd was hyped. There was more wrestling in the first half an hour of Dynamite than's been in both WWE weekly products lately. So I don't know if that was a statement or not, but this Dynamite was jam-packed full of wrestling and titles. It was title eliminators, title matches. They went gangbusters on this. Crowd was hot in El Paso in Texas. It looks like a really fun thing to go to live at the moment, doesn't it? And it comes across on the television. When the crowd's that excited and that loud and that fun and they're chanting, they're carrying on, it makes the viewing experience a lot nicer. We then had the War Dogs, Gabe Kim and Clark Connors, taking on Darby and Cassidy. How would you rate this match?
6-7.
6-7. Yeah, great tag team match. Started with pretty much them just going nuts from the moment they came out. Darby and Cassidy made their entrances first. It was good to see Darby Allin come out to a proper entrance one and let his music play and stuff like that.
It's going to have like the wanted sign for
Roddy Strong.
Yeah.
We'll see if they bring that back or not. Great match. Just started nuts. Orange Cassidy put through a table. Darby Allin put through, hit into the LED screens and stuff like that. Match eventually starts inside the ring. Darby Allin takes a beating until Orange Cassidy can get back into it. They have the babyface comeback run. Gabe Kidd and Clark Connors look like beasts just running through them. Unique offense, very, very hard hitting, very strong style, Japanese style, so you can tell they've just come over from that product. Eventually they get the Darby Allin does a coffin drop off the top rope onto the outside, throws Clark Connors in, Orange Cassidy.
He trips.
Coming back in. Yeah.
He throws him in and oops.
Yeah. Wouldn't be surprised if his legs just gave out. He hits his head that often. There was a spot where he got slapped off the top rope and he swung around and it honestly looked like he'd snapped his neck. How he gets his body through, I'd hate to be Darby at 50. Probably be in the wheelchair the way he's gone. But great entertainment. If that's how he wants to go out, this is what he's passionate about, so I'm not going to argue with him. And then Cassidy gets the win with Orange Punch on Clark Connors. They're celebrating on the ropes. And then we have David Finlay. He was obviously the leader of the War Dogs Bullet Club in New Japan. There'd been a lot of talk because he'd walked away from New Japan to free agency. A lot of talk he was going to go to WWE, and all of a sudden just pops up in AEW. So I don't know how they, according to the dirt sheets, it's because WWE wanted him to start in NXT and he wasn't going to have a bar of that. He thought he was going to bet on himself that he wanted to be main roster or he wasn't coming. And he's betted on himself going to AEW and building his brand there. So can't argue AEW's got another great acquisition from the Indies, the New Japan. So you can use him for Forbidden Door because you still have a whole bunch of rivalries in New Japan. So it's a tool that you can use really, really well. Hits both Darby and Cassidy with the shillelagh, lays them all out. They stand tall, and obviously you have a new heel faction within AEW. So very faction heavy AEW, but it seems to work for them at the moment.
Who would help Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy now?
Maybe you do get Roderick Strong. Maybe that's they rustle up Roderick Strong because he's wanted and try to convince him to be a part of things and stuff like that. Maybe that's the storyline you go with. I think eventually you get the Gabe Kidd Darby Allin payoff stipulation match.
Yeah.
And David Finlay's sort of part of that. Maybe Darby Allin moves on to David Finlay being the head of that trio. There's so many ways you can go with that. And I see it all as a good way of giving Darby Allin good matches, building up Gabe Kidd and then David Finlay and Clark Connors for the Western, the American audience that doesn't quite follow Japanese wrestling, because Darby Allin's such a over babyface, and then that keeps Darby Allin away from the world title a little bit longer, and then you can throw him into that mix. Or either if you don't get Will Ospreay back around All In, you can have him or Kenny in the picture, or just after All In, you can have Darby Allin finally get into that world title picture, and maybe have the big win at maybe a Forbidden Door or Revolution end of next year.
Out.
Winter's coming. It's usually a big show for him. Had the Sting debut there to help him out and all that sort of stuff back in the day. So there's heaps of pathways you can go with it. We then had an Andrade Bandido segment at the back. Bandido was kind of marking out, saying it's a privilege to finally take on Andrade. Andrade just gave him a mouthful, saying he's not on his level and stuff like that. So keeping his heel shtick going. So that was good. Can't wait to see this Revolution. You don't need much build for this. This is two of the best Mexican wrestlers in the world going at it. Give them 25 minutes of just going nuts, and we'll all be entertained. It's going to be a massive match. We then had the Brawling Birds and the Inspiration having their AEW TV debut. Yeah, so we had the Inspiration's AEW television debut. Looks like they're going to be a bit of a comedy act. They were dancing and carrying on, doing that sort of that comedy shtick that they were famous for. They wanted to run it back because they wanted to dance a little bit longer, so they were white girl pop music. And then the Brawling Birds just wiped them out. Squash match in the end. Not sure how I feel about this one. You bring the Inspiration, even though TNA wasn't massive, they were getting television time on NXT and all that sort of stuff, and looked good there. I understand they want to build the Brawling Birds, but maybe you run it back with them not being squashed. You know what I mean? Because they'd be like, "Oh, you jumped us because we were having fun," and then we go from there. But we'll see what happens. How would you rate it?
3.
3? Yeah, quick and easy. Nothing. Brawling Birds are getting built to take on whoever takes the titles from Willow and Harley Cameron, I reckon. So we then had
the titles.
I think a combination Mega Bad, even though Penelope Ford's injured now. I think they use Lena Cross. Penelope Ford takes a step back and be more of the outside manager, helping them win type thing, and you have the two big birds. Yeah, as she was for Megan Bain when she first came in, just on the outside, causing trouble and stuff like that. And I think you get the big two Amazon ladies smashing it on and being a big strong heel tag team that no one can sort of overcome. We then had a Hangman Page squash match. Took on some local talent, beating with 2 moves. Nothing to talk about there, but followed up by a promo. MJF comes out during that promo. They pretty much go back and forth. The sort of narrative of coming up to Revolution and all that, and then the Don Callis family comes out and attacks Hangman Page. And essentially that builds for a trios match later that night because there was any time type scenario.
Still in double duty.
Yeah, so
except for Hangman
I
Page.
thought this was great because it's a lot of people say anywhere, time, any place, and then no one challenges them, and all of a sudden we've got a impromptu title match. So this is essentially the 3rd title match on the show now. You do have a title eliminator too with Moxley. But 3 title matches on a weekly show, it's pretty good, and you're spoiled for wrestling on the AEW weekly product at the moment. So they've obviously looked at the landscape and the dirt sheets and how things are going there, and have made a deliberate act to get as much actual wrestling on the show as possible. We then had a Young Bucks FTR backstage film segment where they were like talking in a boardroom type thing, just laying down that FTR had crossed the line by attacking the family. And Young Bucks said this was now personal, not just about seeing who's the best. And then FTR sort of looked like they're the bigger people, leave the room, but give Brandon Cutler a nice cheap shot on the way out because
who's Brandon Cutler?
He was a bald guy with a beard. He had a lot more to do on AEW television and their conception. He's just best mates with the Young Bucks and stuff like that. He's obviously just a backstage sort of segment guy now, producer type gig.
Filmer now.
Yeah, so
did he used to be a wrestler?
Yeah, well, he still pops up from time to time, but yeah, he doesn't wrestle as much anymore, obviously. We then had Moxley versus Hechicero. How would you rate this match, mate?
6, 7.
6-7. Yeah, Hechicero's he makes everyone look good in the ring. Moxley's on a tear at the moment. A lot of submissions, slow pace, fast in the pace, things that look nasty. It was a great match. Mox picks up the win in the end, and then does his walk around storming off thing. And then Takeshita comes out to check on Hechicero after the loss. Stands tall on the ring corner, sort of mouthing off to Moxley, given the title. He wants that title. Moxley was like, mouthing to him. I won't repeat some of the things he mouthed because if you're a lip read, you know what Moxley's like. Great match. Dynamite had been going a million miles an hour by this point. We then had Brody King come straight out. He beat his music, didn't he? He got into the ring before his music had even hit. So I don't know if that was planned or a production error, but it worked in this instance because it looked like Brody King was, he was there for business, not just just a ring entrance type thing. Obviously challenged Swerve again, saying he's the biggest and baddest. Prince Nana's up on the apron, asks Brody if he really wants this or not, blah, blah, blah. Then indicates, does his come on. Swerve's music hits, you're sort of waiting for him to come through, and he sneak attacks Brody King from behind with chains, gives him a few whacks to the head, back of the head and all that, strings him up over the rope.
Like he did with Kenny Omega.
Yeah, was tight. Pretty much said you'll see him in LA for Revolution. They'll see, a lot of people talk about being the baddest, but he shows he's the baddest. With a heat from the crowd finally for Swerve there. It's he's such a baby face in the company at the moment that it's a good fit. You're going from Kenny Omega to Brody King that are both major baby faces at the moment. This is just going to start to get that heat on Swerve that you want, so you're not getting huge crowd reactions for a heel. So we then went to a Death Rider segment at the back, just sort of challenging the Don Callis family type thing, saying they're the toughest faction. Not much to it. Maria Shafir pretty much continues to challenge Tony Storm. So there's a big payoff match coming between those two. I don't know if it's just a wrestling match or a stipulation match, but we'll get there. It's good because it's building Maria Sharif while that top level world title in AEW Women's Division gets sorted out, and so you have a few more challenges and all that because Tony Storm kind of cleared out things. So now you've got Tekla in there, you've got Thunder Rosa back, you've got Statlander changing her character. You can chuck Willow with the TBS. Monet comes back, so you got people to rotate through again. So when she pops back into it, she's not just the giant fish and everyone's looking for scraps. She's hanging again, and you can got some storylines in there for her. So that'll be good. You can even bring Athena back over from Ring of Honor, which I think she gets wasted on. She should just permanently be on AEW, if you ask me. I know she's got an attachment to the show and builds people there, but I think her time has come. Throw a TBS on her on AEW Dynamite, have Mercedes in the world title picture, and then build Athena into that world title picture later on. Then we then had Tekla versus Rosa, Thunder Rosa. How would you rate this match?
What, didn't we have a Tony Storm segment before? Remember when she goes to check on?
Oh yes, my apologies. We do, yeah. We obviously got a response to the Death Riders thing. Tony Storm had gone into the locker room to check up on Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin. She pretty much said she was going to come after Maria Sharif. So look for something to happen on Collision to build. I reckon they do have a payoff match at Revolution, or at least another match at Revolution. Don't think it's a mixed tag again. I think they go at it. I think Steve was pretty much like, oh, we'll fight the War Dogs. We'll just keep fighting because they like to fight. He didn't look too happy about it though. That's his character though. And then kind of made the hint like, who even let her in here? Because she was acting so crazy, which was a funny little giggle at. So, and then that moved into the Tekla Thunder Rosa match that was obviously made on Collision this week when she was mouthing off to her in the crowd. How would you rate this match?
5.
5. Great match. Thunder Rosa can go. She's been injured a lot, going through a rough patch in her career, as some people do when they deal with major injuries.
And
was a foundation.
She had one of the greatest matches with Britt Baker.
Yeah, so she was foundational for the AEW Women's division. So seeing her back and building that in-ring fitness and stuff again is great. I think you slowly build her up. You can probably put the title back on her in 6 to 12 months if you get her built and get that. She had massive crowd reaction in El Paso. I think she had family along the ringside and stuff like that. Tekla was playing to them a bit. One of them actually helped her up when she got thrown into the barricade, and Tekla went back in the ring. Doing a great job of building Tekla. She didn't have any minions help her on this one, so she got the win. The minions done afterwards. She got a clean win in the end with a couple of spears. a near 4-1, and then finally getting that one when because she pulled her up thinking she was all that, wanted to beat her more, which almost resulted in her losing the title. Thunder Rosa almost pulled off the underdog babyface win, hits her with another spear, gets the win that way.
I thought she does a stomp on the head and
spear stomp combination, gets the win.
And then she attacks Mark.
Yeah, and then the minions come out and attack as well.
Stomp onto the tile.
Yeah, and then and then Sweet Landing comes out for the save, looking all different. She doesn't look like the Cosmic Killer type thing. She looks all mean and but she holds her up, and then the camera pans to her, and she kind of just lets her drop as well. And it's kind of like, whoa, okay, is she actually the baby face anymore or what? So there's just a little thing that she's obviously going to have a character change, so that's good. And then we had a Jungle Boy video package. He's just coming after Ricochet. Ricochet gave him a mouthful as well. Look forward to that match. It's going to be great. Those two can really go. We then had Tommaso Ciampa come out, interviewed by Renee Paquette. Pretty much saying he's coming for the title. He came there to be a top guy, and FTR's music hits. Obviously, they refer to themselves as top guys. A lot of history. NXT Gold back in the day. DIY versus the Revival was a huge storyline with a massive payoff that then resulted in Tommaso Ciampa becoming the Sicilian psychopath again, turning on Johnny Wrestling and all that sort of stuff. Massive thing back in the day. I was a massive NXT Gold fan. AEW then came along and sort of replaced it as that.
That gold thing?
No, as the real pro wrestling company type thing. Obviously things change over the 6 years or whatever, but pretty much he cheap shotted Dex in the end, saying that he doesn't want to be a part of them, doesn't call them friends and old friends and all that. But FTR just wanted to leave it there. That hey, you need mates in this company to go anywhere. So I don't know if they end up
collision.
Yeah, and they'll see him at collision. So I don't know if I think it's going to be a fight. But who knows with this one? Maybe he does jump on board with FTR, or he aligns himself with somebody.
Maybe Johnny Wrestling comes.
I don't think so. Johnny Gargano's at WWE for a long time. His missus is there. He's not going to leave, mate. Wishful thinking, though. And then that led into the trios title match. How would you rate this one? 6, 7. We have new trios champions. Don Callis family with more gold.
And Davis actually got the pin.
Yeah, Mark Davis got the pin on, who was it? Kevin Knight?
Yes.
On Kevin Knight, yep. Kevin Knight was already beaten up. MJF came out snotted Hangman Page with the diamond ring, so that helped when the babyface rally was happening. He sort of cut it short, and that allowed the Don Callis family to get the win. I think they were going to get you could suggest they were going to get the win anyway. You had Okada and Kyle Fletcher in there, Okada, so they weren't going to let those guys lose. But it was great to see the titles change. It's good, in my opinion. It's good. It gives some sort of it changes things, because now you're like, oh, will Hangman win at Revolution because he's got no title now? Whereas if he'd lost, he could have stayed in the trios champions. And now that gave me questions, made me wonder, are we going to have the title change at Revolution? So it makes the match even more intriguing. So good piece of television there. How would you rate the whole show?
6, 7.
How would you rate Dynamite at the moment?
6, 7.
Good weekly product?
6, 7.
What's your favourite thing about Dynamite at the moment?
6, 7.
Great product at the moment. They're on a roll. Doesn't mean it will stay that way. This week was even better than last week. There was not a section of this where I didn't think it was valuable or entertaining, which is even another step up, because last week there was a couple of segments there where it was kind of like, you could have done without that type thing. But this week it was all value, especially when you're leading up to a major pay-per-view. Was a great show. So good work to AEW. SmackDown will be our next review. I'm looking forward to this SmackDown. They've done a lot to rework WrestleMania, the WrestleMania season. So
we may have a new champion.
yeah, so we're looking forward to that one. So it's not like WWE is not producing good stuff. It's just one or two good things surrounded by yuck at the moment, and WrestleMania season's usually better than that. So I expect SmackDown to ramp that back up. The dirt sheet says there's been some changes in the creative team because they are aware that things just weren't working. So I look forward to what they produce in the run up to WrestleMania. I look forward to AEW next week and on Collision on the weekend as they continue to push for Revolution. That looks like it's going to be a gangbuster of a pay-per-view. So we're spoiled as professional wrestling fans at the moment, aren't we? Great television everywhere, great products. So if you're not watching both the Fed and AEW at the moment, I would say you need to because both have segments and products at the moment that are worth watching. So God bless you all. Anything from you, Big Bar?